Hey, what's up,
you
everyone?
guys?
So we are doing a eat in the car thing. We haven't eaten in the car for a while now. I'm just trying to adjust the camera.
So I don't know. We kind of wanted to talk about like buying our first house, but before we get into that, we're gonna go ahead and talk about basically our experiences when we were not homeowners.
When we were renters.
When we were renters.
When I was 11.
Okay, so she's never really been a renter. She was a renter very little in some apartments called 5th Street, but I'm gonna go ahead and expand it to when I was very
and
little.
We're gonna eat Jersey Mike's.
Yes.
And we're doing it. So we're gonna kind of like give you guys a rundown on like my sister said, when we bought our first home way back in 2012. And
like, we're not trying to sound cocky or nothing like that, but like, we're just saying when we bought our first house. And like, it's not like if we've always been homeowners. We haven't, but I mean, my parents. Okay, so you know what? Let's get into
We've been very blessed, you guys. I know that we're two girls from East LA, but we've never had to like. I don't know what suffering is. My sister's gonna make fun of me.
Do I need hand sanitizer?
What's my only sad story?
So, like, her only sad story is like
when I got bullied in 9th grade.
When
Besides that, you guys,
and like when I wore like the crown for like a month. But my sister has never suffered. I'm sorry, like
I've been very blessed. I have two very, very loving parents, and I had an older sister, so she would kind of always guide me. And yeah, you guys. So
this is the thing.
I know you guys see us like this and all laid back, and we get like bullied on the internet. But yeah, that's your way of showing that like we're two grown women and like we don't have to like do much.
Wait, do we have to put hand sanitizer?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I ate already. I'm gonna die.
Okay. So, but we washed our hands.
Okay.
But we'll still put. So,
can I have a napkin, please? All right. So let me start off. Let me start off first.
Real estate plus personal experiences.
Okay. So let me start off with Let me start off with when I used to be a renter. Okay. So my parents, we used to rent a house in Whittier Boulevard next to some panaderia called Don Chava's Panaderia. So we lived in the back, and I remember that like the man would come and like ask my dad for the rent like every first of the month, and my dad and my mom were always very responsible with the rent. I never seen a problem. I was able to do a lot of things there because the owners didn't live in the premises. It was only me, my dad, my mom, and me, and I had like all the animals in the world. I remember that like I owned like chickens, and I owned like rabbits, and I owned ducks, and I really wanted a cat, but my dad would say no. And I remember that in that house we really never had no rules. The reason why I say that is because the owners didn't live in the premises. My dad really, he's like the type of person that never really wanted to bother the owner. So like when there was like a water problem or something, I know my dad would just fix it out of his pocket. Back in the days, my dad was not rich. He worked for like an 8 to 5. It was hard. My mom wouldn't work in that time. It was hard, but the rent was cheap. So when we left that property, because we decided to move to like some apartments called 5th Street.
On 5th Street.
It was on 5th
On 5th Street in East LA.
We decided to move because I remember that my aunt told my dad to go live over there because like that basically they were gonna be able to like babysit us and stuff like that, because my aunt was gonna come from Mexico and I don't know what, and like that was like I'm glad that I moved from there, because like
time.
yeah, my aunt, the one that invited my dad there, was like horrible. But all right, so we got to this place, and right here there was a lot of roads.
The other one wasn't the pretty aunt.
No, but that one. No,
The one that's hardcore in
no, but
Michoacan.
that one was. So
We can't say what, but
so
this lady.
So I remember that this aunt invited us to go live there, and like we did. We started renting the top apartment. I was still an only child at that moment, and I was like, I remember that I would cry because my dad had to give. Well, that's another story time of like how I would have like killed my animals because I would shower them. But that's another story time. I didn't mean to
He
kill
mean
them.
overdid it. Mira el papel.
With the-
Oh wait, we got it. We got a turkey with bacon, extra cheese on wheat, all the veggies, and we got it. ¿Qué? Mike's way. Okay, finish saying how you would assassinate the animals.
My dad, I had chickens and ducks, and I didn't know.
Where you at that boyfriend later on?
I would shower them. Y like yo los ahogaba, but I didn't mean it. I was just showering them. You know what? My parents' fault. Who would leave a 1 or 2 year old with pets? Would you? Okay.
Look, does this look like light turkey? I asked for a little bit of turkey, but I think a ti te dio menos,
No.
right? Didn't he scarf down the turkey?
All right. So in those apartments, there was way more rules. I couldn't have pets. I remember that I was on love with like music, so like we couldn't put it that high. It was really, it was way more strict there. I remember that when my sister was born, le subieron a mitad la renta. Yeah. It was strict. Like we could not, like if we couldn't be late on the rent, like nothing, not even like an hour, because like if the rent wasn't like given to the manager at 5 o'clock, for every 30 minutes I know that they would charge my dad like $5. They were like strict in those apartments. Then my uncle, he bought us some houses, and they told my dad to go live over there.
He's our cousin.
So we went to go live to this other house in Bonnie Beach. It was like a house way in the top. They have 3, one in the bottom, one in the middle, and one on the top. And like we lived in like this little house. It was like super little, but the rent was really cheap because it was my uncle. Although they were our relatives, but there was rules, you guys. Like we couldn't do whatever we wanted, even if we were related. Like we wanted a swing in the tree, we couldn't have it. I remember that like we had like those pools, you know, like those pools que like compras. Y like cuando tirábamos la agua, it had to automatically go like to the bottom. And like I remember that like, you know, my uncle would kind of get upset, and like you know, pues they're his houses, like, you know, you're an owner, so I mean you have to have rules, you know. I remember that like we had like a dog, and like it was like a lot of conflict because our dog would get into a fight with like their dog. So you know, I had all these cats, and like you know, cats poop, so like it smells, and like siempre was like, ay, Elsa y los gatos, and like it basically, you guys, even if it's family, but it was like, it was drama because, you know, we're renting, you know, we're renters.
I remember for me, I think I was like 4, no? When we started living there. I was like 4 years old, and when we were confused. We always thought he was my uncle. He passed away a few years ago. And he's our cousin, but we would always call him like
he's
uncle.
our uncle because he's married to our aunt.
And I was like, why is it all wet? I was like la amiga de la amiga. I was friends, you guys, with like, I was only like in 1st grade, 2nd grade. I used to bring all the girls from the class home. So there was always an issue because there was a house in the bottom, house in the middle, house on the top. And We always had like the pirata dog.
My dad would always say, El
Es
perro
pastor
es
alemán.
legítimo.
He was like cruzado. He was never real. And so my family in the middle had a Doberman. He wouldn't bite me or my sister. He was a real pretty dog. His name was Kaiser. But he would, of course, he's an aggressive dog. He's a Doberman. So, my cousin always had to get the dog, and there was always like an issue, you know, because it's at your house, so you're just like there. I lived there for, I would say, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 7 years. So I was a traviesa, you guys. Like, I used to do a lot of stuff. I would get them mad. But I liked it because, like, my sister lived there. Of course, my sister. My younger cousin lived there. I would play with her. My older cousin. But there's always rules that you have to follow. You know, I couldn't just, like, when my parents bought their house later on, where, like, my house was like the kickback pad, and like the novios would chill there. I could imagine me as a teenager growing up there. I think that I would have been causing them a bunch of problems.
So I began being a teenager there. I began being a teenager there, and it was not a good experience. I started growing up. I couldn't have my privacy because, like, my cousins lived in the middle, so like everything I would do, it was like it would become into like a big deal. They would like it was like if I had not really my younger cousin, because she's too young for me, but like the other ones, it was like if I had like 2 other siblings, and they were like the good kids, and they would make me seem like if I was like the bad kid. So it was like them always being in my business. If I liked someone, they would make it into like a big deal. The girl in the front, like, todo el día se acaban de, like, she was like a hoe. And like it was like, it would make me feel uncomfortable because I couldn't have my privacy. You know, we're growing up, you know, you start wanting to like bring friends over, and like I remember we would hang out in the bottom, and like the tenant in the bottom, which was also my uncle, would get kind of pissed off. He would get pissed off because, like, I mean, I would chill there. It wasn't cute for me to like hang out with like my sister's friends, even though they hated me, right? But well, I couldn't hang around with them anymore because, I mean, what was I gonna talk to them about? I got my period, like, you know, they were still young, and it was like, it was hard. I needed my own privacy. I needed like my own life. I couldn't have one there. I was growing up. I was starting to get boyfriends, friends that were older. So my parents finally decided to buy a house. We bought a house up a couple of blocks down from there.
I would always beg my parents, because I had a best friend that lived in the corner. Not her best friend, but my best friend. Her best friend had the pretty house in the front, and my best friend had the pretty house on the side. My best friend had a swing. Like those that you make. Not like those expensive ones. I tried doing one, but there was like an issue that like the lemon tree was gonna hit the cord, so I couldn't have it. So year after year, I was always begging my parents. That was always my dream. I want a house on my own where I could have a dog, I could have a swing set. I always wanted grass. I would beg my dad constantly, Daddy. I would call him Daddy because it's daddy, but in Spanish we would say Daddy. Daddy, in this voice, bro. Daddy, cuando vamos a comprar una casa? Every year, I think that like I would probably even cause the arguments between my parents, because I was constantly like pressuring my dad, like, I want a house, I want a house, I want like a house to play in, I want a house. So finally, when I was 11 years old, my parents bought their first house. It wasn't a house on its own, it was more of an investment property. I mean, I was happy at school. and I was happy inside of my house, like my parents and my sister, but I didn't really like the fact that there was tenants. Now, I was the one not understanding tenants.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that we bought a house. The process was the agent, I don't know what she did, whatever, but my dad qualified. He bought the house.
He got co-signers.
There we go. He got 2 co-signers. And then years later, I think that she did something where like they removed it or something like that. And we lived in a house in the middle, and there was a big house in the front, and it's one like the one that we lived in the back. It's it's a triplex like this. Check out the Dicen que nos miramos bougie. That's my dad's investment property in East LA. And that's the house I grew up in, the house that we're walking out of. I was already going into middle school, so I wasn't really like playing anymore like Barbies and stuff. I was more like transitioning into a teenager. So I kind of missed being a kid, but at the same time I was growing up. My dog Lobo ran away because we moved. And we got this other dog that I really didn't get to know because we always had him like on the side. And I am so anti-animal cruelty because I am. We always had him like tied up. We wouldn't really show much love to the dog. But I kind of didn't have my space. I liked it. I liked the fact that like I was like the owner, but I kind of didn't have my space. Like, you know, I was always like sharing the lot. I wouldn't really play anymore in the playground. We were more of like the kickback house. Like all the teenagers in East LA, Boyle Heights, all the teenagers' boyfriends would go over my house. Basically, when my parents bought the house, they had to work more. So we wouldn't really see them as much. We were better financially, but we ran the house, you guys.
Yeah, you guys. So like,
so the tenants would complain about us.
Okay, you guys. So we moved, like you said. We moved. We started. My dad bought a house. We thought that like it was gonna be like. I remember that we were kind of homesick. But then again, I was kind of like glad, like I was like, I'm so glad that like we moved finally, like I got away. I'm finally away from like la prima tóxica. I could kind of get away from like people that were like around that like I just needed to get away from them. So I remember that like we moved, and right away I noticed that my sister right away was like happy. She right away like made friends, and I remember there was some girl like around the corner, and they became good. No, but yeah, she right away adapted to like the new neighborhood. I didn't.
What am I doing?
Broken her plates. I remember that my sister adapted really quick. I didn't. I remember that around that same time, I didn't end up getting a quinceañera, and I was really sad. I was really depressed. I remember that I was coming out, and like my best friend's quinceañera and my best friend's friend's quinceañera, and I was like really sad. And I remember I was really depressed.
Your ex cuñada?
I was dating her brother, and like at the same time I dislocated my knee.
Because she was going to Southgate.
I was going to Southgate. I remember that at the same time I left my high school because I got bullied, and like all these bad things started happening to me. I remember that in that time I was suffering from like anorexia. I had like thoughts of suicide. I hated my life. I was miserable, you guys, at that time. I started becoming like really bitter. I hated that house. I hated it. I hated everything that came with it. I had no friends. I was really lonely. I had nowhere to go. Look at that guy. Looks like your cousin. The massagist. Oh. So like I was like, oh my god.
No, he looks like
Why? I'm sorry. So like I was really, really, really depressed, you guys, really sad. But I started kind of adapting though, because I was able to like use the phone. Although we didn't have a yard, but our house became like the party house for like East Los. And we started like messing around. I remember that like our boyfriends were like going to the house, and like my parents had no clue, no idea. Like in that time, I remember that the neighbors would tell like my parents were like working, so like honestly they couldn't even like reprendernos because they were so busy. So like basically that pad honestly was like the kickback pad in East Los.
It was the party, the kickback, drinking, smoking, fucking,
Learning how to strip.
my house, you guys, was like the refugee house. I was always collecting all these friends that like had dysfunctional homes, and like they would stay there all summer, and like they would borrow all my clothes. My mom was like cooking for everyone. So me, I kind of did like I would always tell my mom, like, because the holidays would come along, and I would just tell my mom, like, that like, we're a lot of family in East LA. And I was like, why don't we hang out during the holidays? But the next day would come around, and I just had too many friends. I don't know. I didn't get to like suffer. So finally, years later, when I finally wanted to move out of East Los,
So before that,
she
okay.
came with the idea
So
for us to buy a house in another house in East LA.
okay. So I finally got like a real job. Previously I worked, but this one was like a real job from like 8 to 5.
The
In
pay
that
was good.
job, I
The pay.
remember that the pay started off not that well, but guess what? I quickly
You moved up.
started going up there. I
You were-
started in the car room. People could go ahead and like if
It
they
was Dr.
view me,
Weiland's and
Dr.
Bellflower.
Weiland's and Bellflower. I started in the car room center, and right away I moved up in raise. I got 2 raises in that department, and then they moved me to the insurance department. You needed a bachelor's degree at that time to work there, but the manager was really nice. I remember that like there was rumors that like I was doing it with the manager, and like it wasn't true. He just was really nice to me. And I remember that I was like I want to buy a house. Like I want to buy an investment house, and like that's what I want to do, and like that's what I really want to do. And like I pitched my dad the idea, and my dad was like, I don't know, like I really don't want like compromisos at this time. And like I kept begging my dad, and he was like, no, I don't know. And I was like, well, I can't really judge my dad at that point because I had just got a job. And I remember that previously I was in a really abusive relationship, and I don't know if it was like, nah, hombre, de seguro estaba a regresar con el loco, or like, I don't know what was going through my dad's mind. But then again, I mean, previously I wasn't that good of a U.S. citizen. So I mean, you know, I went to the hospital because like I ate a wheat brownie, and you know, I don't know, I'm not gonna judge my dad in that time, but I did pitch him out the idea. At that time, me and my mom were just not really getting along. I remember that I told my sister, and she was like, cool, yeah, go for it. Like, cool. I mean, you know, if that's what you want to do, cool. I think that at that time you were still in high school. But
I was a senior in high school, and I remember that we had started going to like clubs donde le aventaban, like they were like play banda and all that. So I started dating boys from like other cities, and I was dating this one guy, 2 actually, 3 actually. I was dating this guy from Sinaloa, but he lived in Corona. And I was dating this other guy. I was from Zacatecas, and he lived in Eagle Rock. And this other guy from Jalisco that was from Culver City. And I was dating guys from Boyle Heights in East LA, so they wouldn't say nothing about my house. And I was dating these guys from like other cities, and like llegaban and they were like, you live here? And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, hello, I was the princess in East LA. Like, you know, because a lot of my friends, I was really privileged. I consider myself to be really, really privileged. But of course, high school ends and there's more to life. And I was dating guys that would show up to my house and they were like, "You live here?" And I would tell my sister, like, "This guy," I'm sorry, I would say it like that. I would go, "This guy, he's from Mexico. What does he know?"
And like I had to back her up, and I was like, "Nah, there's some guy that like era presumido," and he would pop out with like, "You guys are ghetto. I live in Eagle Rock," and I would tell him Eagle Rock, and that's like the Boyle Heights of East LA, homie.
Yeah, because what's the good one?
Pasadena.
Highland Park, no? I don't know. Yeah, he was from Eagle Rock. And, like, especially the one from Jalisco. He was hilarious, and he would make fun of my high school. They were horrible, you guys. Like, for once, I was getting, like, una sopa de mi propio chocolate. Because when I was going to Roosevelt, me and my friend would go, "Oh, my God, this school is ghetto. Garfield is way better." Really, talking like that. There's no toilet paper, and like we were just like talk a bunch of shit. Oh my God, these guys would make my life miserable. They would say that my high school looked like City Hall, that I had no pool, that my high school had no pool. They would criticize like the area, like that East LA was ugly, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "What?" So, como she wanted to buy a house that. I know that the area that she wanted to buy was more towards Boyle Heights. So I remember that I was a senior in high school and I was not really feeling that area because I had a lot of issues with people from Boyle Heights, and I was kind of like, not really feeling this area. Can you like look for somewhere else? So then time after,
I remember that right after that, since my dad like didn't want to invest with me, I remember that one of the guys that my sister was dating was like, "Well, let's invest in something. You want to invest like in a club?" And I was like, "Yeah." But since my sister and him salieron mal, it didn't end up going through. Right or wrong?
this guy is not none that I mentioned right now. This guy was from Boyle Heights. I met him at Roosevelt. Es que él salió mal solo. We were never together.
Well, él salió mal solo, but I don't know, pues. The point is that he loved my sister. I don't know if he loved her, but he really liked her. And like, for him, my sister had cheated on him. They were not together. Well, that's another story time, but the point is que estaba medio loquito el guy. But he wanted to invest with me, I guess, because he was like,
we were investing all of our money in music. In that time, you guys, we had already received our AA certificate from Rio Hondo College. So we kind of like took a leave from school for a while. And we kind of like started focusing all of our money and all of our focus to music.
So, I mean, we had money. We had money to like go to like somewhere where they could help us and tell us like, you guys do this and do this and do that and do this.
We had no credit. We would not put the money in the bank. All of our money was just saved up. And we went to a Remix. When we got there, they were so rude. They were looking at us like we were stupid. My dad was like, "Well, how can I help them so they could buy their first house?" They were looking at my dad like, because he was on like regular clothes.
Because my dad, like, he dresses like regular days, like shirts or like regular pants.
He was dressed regular because he had to go deliver aguacate that day. But he would always hear us like, "Dad, I want to buy a house. Come on, Dad. Like, come on, we could do it. We could like move out and rent out this house and pay it over there. Like, come on, Dad, we could do it. We'll give you the down payment."
And he
it's
was
just that
like,
como we had already
right.
like que dale mal. Like, "Are you guys sure you're gonna pay your car? I'm gonna take out the car for you. And we would always leave him with the whole payment and we'd go party at Rodeo. And, well, so it was all like,
But-
we wouldn't even drink though.
But he did not, ya no los tenía así como like éramos like las malas niñas. Like, I don't know if you get what I mean. Ya los miraba a little more like, let me see what I could do for them. He did, because he asked them, well, what can I do? What can I do to help them? ¿Qué se puede hacer? Because he kind of trusted us now. At this point there, we had kind of grown up. He had kind of seen that like we had our own business. I mean, if we didn't have to pay anything.
We would party like Thursday to Sunday.
But we had our own money already, you know.
There, we had stopped already.
We had like, at that point we had like our own dinero. We just didn't know what to invest it in. And my dad was willing to help us out. We went to this Remax, and I remember that like right away they eyed us up and down, looking at us like, please,
We're like,
you guys will never buy a house like that.
Like,
And we were like what?
they told my dad, do you have $40,000? And my dad, like, through the inside, and we were like, we do.
Like, we had 60 right now.
Do you
and
know my dad?
you guys, we had 60 on top of the closet in an envelope.
They were really rude. So we were like, fuck you, we'll take our services elsewhere. So I sure met this guy. He was a very nice agent. Although, sadly, we didn't end up going with him. But she met him. He was from Century 21 All-Stars. I won't say his name. But he guided us, and he was like, girls, you guys have to have credit. This is all the docs that I need. I was really sad, and I would cry, and I remember that he was like, in order for you guys to buy in, you gotta buy out.
And he wanted to send us like all the way to like Fullerton, like really
No,
far
Moreno
city.
Valley.
Fullerton, I'm sorry, like Fontana, like those cities that are like super far for us. And I was like, oh hell no, like I know the houses are bigger, but no, it's not gonna work.
We're city
out.
girls. I just wanted to get out. I needed a new start. So finally, you guys, thanks to our quinceañera business and thanks to Noche de Party and Damas de Pura Calidad, we made money.
Yay!
We made money. And so I was really excited because for a long time, I was like, is music just a waste of time? Because, you know, this is like look at the video. It dates back to like 2010, 2011. I was like, I've been doing this shit for a while. Is it really going to pay off? So thanks to those two songs, you guys, we got some money, and thanks to I am blessed with the quinceañera business. Thanks to all the kids that turned 15. So we finally got money. So this agent guided us. He was very nice. He never like went like that to us. It's just that we took such a long time, and now that we are both in real estate, we understand that you rather work with the lister than with the buyer, because the buyer, you have to deal. This agent worked with us for, I would say, 10, 11, 12, 4 years. He would take us out, and we wanted like everything. We wanted a house in Whittier, in Pico, that stainless steel, a pool. My mom wanted everything brand new, and we wanted to pay you. We wanted to pay you guys $1,100. Like, are you serious?
He was really nice, you guys.
Finally, one day, the agent,
super
we had just gone back to school, and I remember that we were driving to Kelsey Dominguez Hills, and he tells us, girls, I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm the agent for you. Me, you guys, mi mundo se me fue pa abajo. I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna buy my house. I cried. Weeks after, my sister found this other agent,
and he started taking us around. I mean, basically he just picked up where the other agent left off. So like the other agent had basically done the work already, and this agent picked up there, and he just basically put a couple of little more pieces together, and he basically started showing us houses. We were like desperate. We just wanted a house.
And
we just wanted to get out of East Los.
Was that this agent found us our first house not far, and the other agent would kind of throw us out. And I remember that I would tell this new agent, I don't want to go far. Like, I want to get out of East LA, but I don't want to go far. And he was like, you don't have to. You just have to report a little bit more in your taxes. What do you mean? Yeah, I just gotta report a little bit more on your taxes. That's all you girls have to do. All right. So he did us like we did another, since we're self-employed, you guys. Oh my goodness, we had to report and pay
money.
Uncle Sam for 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 5 years. I know it's only 2 years of taxes that you have to show,
but since we're self-employed,
I kind of feel like the other agent though, he misguided us a lot.
yes,
Because he would tell us all you have to report is $20K a year.
but the difference between these two agents is that the first agent never did us a dirty look. The second agent actually he actually did tell me and my sister,
Do you guys go out like that all the time?
like, what does your closet look like? That was one of the things that I did not like about this agent. But thanks to him showing us the proper houses, we were able to
Buy our first house. So he taught us how to like build our credit. We reported 2 years of taxes. We
got because we went crazy like in Macy's, Victoria's Secret, and like we had to pay those debts off.
Thanks to my parents.
It was not our dream home, but it was our home.
Yeah.
And my parents los apoyaron, like, go for it. So I know that my dad was like, this is not the city that I want. These fucking girls are fucking nuts. But we bought our first house. I don't know, you guys. It was strange.
Finally, you guys, in May of 2012, we bought our first house.
Okay.
And then
finally we had a house that we were not happy there. The neighbors were just horrible.
We made our house, you guys, a dance studio.
Yes, we did.
All of our quinceañeras were there and we were packed.
We were happy, you guys. We were
Monday through Friday. So this was our schedule. Music had been kind of like, and we had quinceañeras like booming every single day.
But we were happy.
We were studying for our realtor's license. Plus, we were getting our master's degree.
The reason why we wanted a realtor's license is because, honestly, you guys, we wanted to do our own transactions. And we knew that staying in that house, was
not for us. So what we did was, we didn't pass our real estate exam. We started
a while.
We just focused in school. We came back to music in 2016. We dropped Tequilita. Around that time, my father got Guillain-Barré syndrome. And we got an email from this agent. He's like, hey, how you girls been? We ended up like in bad terms after the first sale. So this agent gave us a call and he emailed us. And he was like, hey, you guys want to get together? How you guys doing? We were like, we're not, like, we're full-time students. We've been kind of like wanting to like buy another house. But I don't know. So when he came, he's like, whoa, you guys give this house a big makeover. Because it wasn't a fixer-upper. But we added a lot of stuff to the house. Like floors, a fountain. We painted it different.
I always like to like fix stuff. I don't know. I'm really creative when it comes to things. And like a veces I know que my sister and my mom dicen que a veces hago las cosas de las chuchis. But I don't know, you guys. I like color. I don't like plain stuff.
But the house is really pretty. Everyone knew it like as the red house on the block. A bunch of kids from like quinceañera knew our house.
Pictures and the fountain. We made this house very, very pretty. So like the equity went like super high.
Finally, in 2016 he emailed us. My dad was in the hospital. I remember we told my dad, Dad, we're gonna buy another house. He was like, yeah, sure.
He couldn't move from here down and he was looking at us like, these chicks are crazy. I remember that days before he was telling us that like he was gonna die and that like that'll be another story time. But my dad was like, these girls are crazy. How in the world are they gonna get me out of here? We really wanted to get another house in a city that he liked. So
I remember that like my mom would tell her and she was like, yeah, sure. I was like, come on, Mom, like believe in me. Oh my God. Haven't I I would tell you that I was gonna get us to Pepe Garza's office, and we did. I told you that I was gonna buy my first house, and I did. I always told you that I was gonna go back to school and graduate, and we did 3 times. So I don't know why she doesn't believe in it now. So finally, you guys, after the agent called us back and we did up our credit again, paid off more debts again.
Well, he was very excited because he ran our address and he said, whoa,
Equity went up.
Your equity's up. So with that equity, we were able to do a lot of things because it's a lot of cash.
And we were able to purchase our second home.
Yes.
Pico Rivera, California. Now, we're getting ready to buy our brand new home. So what is it that you need to buy a house?
So you guys, what you need basically to buy a house is the following. You need to have good credit.
640 or higher, 620 or higher.
Yes. Number 2, 2 years of reported
income.
taxes. But remember, if you want to stay in areas like Pico, Whittier, Downey, even El Monte, LA,
You do have to show a high income.
yes, but it's 2 years of taxes that
You could be
have to report,
self-employed.
or you could get a co-signer and you could get a lot of people to help you buy your dream house wherever you want. But you guys have to all have good credit and 2 years reported.
Photocopy of your ID, social security number.
Or I-10. But if you're gonna do I-10, there
You
is a
do
20% down payment to buy that property. If you're gonna use your social, and then it's much less
We
than
do have,
that.
there is a lot of
2%.
programs available. Yeah, you guys, so never let nobody tell you you can't, because we could.
Yeah,
And
you
we were
can.
just 2 girls from East LA that people would say that for us to get a real job, which years later became a family business. And you just have to like be consistent, because
Yeah.
we meet people that they want to buy a house and then like they kind of take it like we're making it hard for them, in which reality we're not. It's just they just no ponen de su parte. But yeah, you guys, dreams are possible. Dreams come true. Anyone can buy a house, you guys. So yeah, like my sister said, we have the option of either going far and buying a brand new home, a bigger house, or staying closer and the house is a bit more pricier. Not that nice, but I think we're gonna stay closer because
And
we're
like,
city girls.
Yes, and like we said, we got our license because we just want to do our own transactions and we like to do our own thing. We just did not like the experience that we had when people would tell us no. So like to make our life easier, we just got our own license and now we do our own transactions. Of course, in this time, it's gonna be on our time and what we want and how we like it.
So be here, join us on our journey as we buy our 3rd home this year. Possibly by next year we'll buy an investment property. But yeah, you guys. So
All right,
that's just our
guys.
experience. Wanted to share with you guys.
So hopefully you liked our story time. Subscribe, comment, share the bell. Bye, you guys.